Hello, friends. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Brain Food. And this one is going to be about the idea of marketing is fuzzy. How do you know when it's working? And this came up when I was meeting with a friend of mine, Kerry George, at a mutual client of ours. He brought me in to do blogging with them. And we were talking about this yesterday, and I was talking about some history. Like 14 years ago, it was a lot harder to measure if your marketing is working than it is compared to today with all the digital things that are happening online with LinkedIn and blog posts and email newsletters and all these other things that you can actually measure eyeballs, clicks, and things like that. And I did an article, a video a few weeks ago about focusing entirely on measurement is missing the boat. You can ruin your efforts because ultimately what matters is that you and your organization are actively involved in ongoing consistent storytelling. But I wanted to kind of touch on that again and take that a step further because if you think about it, how do you know if those efforts are working? Those efforts where you're telling your stories through email newsletters or in person at lots of coffees and lunches or status updates on LinkedIn, things like that. And my simple answer to that is if other people are talking about what you're involved in and what you're doing or feeding that information back to you like, hey, I loved the article about the interest rate changes, or I loved the article about ChatGPT that you did, or whatever the thing is that your industry talks about and you're putting content out there, when was the last time somebody mentioned that content to you? Because that means that they are seeing the information that you're putting out there. That's the definition of marketing, is that you're trying to stay top of mind with people so they remember you, so they can refer you business, so they remember what you do in your business, so they understand the kinds of referrals to give you, right? It's very straightforward. If they are paying enough attention, it doesn't have to be all the time, but if you're talking about things at coffees and lunches and chamber events and online through LinkedIn status updates or through the company's marketing department with email newsletters, as you sit down to coffee with somebody and they're like, hey, I really liked that you guys put on that global economy event in December. That was really cool. Then you know marketing is kind of working. It's not an exact science. It's fuzzy. But if you consistently hear people mentioning, oh, I liked this article, or oh, I liked hearing that you guys are doing this, or oh, I saw your billboard of the new building that you're putting up in downtown Kansas City, whatever it is, that is how marketing is working. And so one of the things that I wanted to put up on the screen is that I look at just generally, not all the time, but here and there, I look at the impressions that I got on status updates that I put on LinkedIn. And you can do that by going my profile, post and activity, view profile, post and activity. You can see all your recent post updates. And if you're not doing status updates, there's a different problem. But you can see that on this one that I'm putting up on the screen right now, I have over 500 impressions. This was one from a couple weeks ago. And that's kind of common, 300 to 600 impressions on the status updates that I put out there. And you might be saying to yourself, well, what does an impression mean? What is an impression? An impression means that at some time they logged into LinkedIn and on their home feed of all the status updates that are happening, and I know it's a busy space, they might have seen my content. So LinkedIn has put that content in their face as they're scrolling by, and they may or may not have seen it, but when you have over 500 impressions, there's a very good chance that a whole bunch of people have seen it. Plus, they eventually will respond to that. I teach people all the time that you should comment and not just click the easy button of liking. But you'll see likes and smiles and feedbacks and hearts and things like that on LinkedIn to let you know that they actually are interacting with your content. So that's a simple way to kind of take some of the fuzzy out of it, just to know that people are interacting with your content. And I also pay very close attention when I'm sitting down with somebody for coffee if they mention, oh, thanks for the tip on window E and window arrow keys to move windows around on desktop, or hey, thanks for the tip about whatever, the tips, all the stuff that I put out there from a content perspective. And when they do that, it reinforces that ding of, oh, they're paying attention. And it's interesting, it's not all, most of the time the feedback's not online. I will get text messages from people. I will get email responses to people when they're signed up for my newsletter and they see the content there. They'll reply to that email and I'll get that reply. And they'll say it when they sit down with me at a peer advisory group meeting or a coffee meeting or something like that of, hey, I love these 2 pieces of content that you put out. That was really helpful for me and it saved me time or whatever. And that's how you know when the marketing efforts that you do at your organization are working. So if that's not happening for you right now, maybe take a step back and have a meeting with your marketing department and talk about how can we get people talking about us, because we all know that the best way that we're getting the new business or repeat business is through word of mouth referrals. And unless you're a widget company that's B2C, business to consumer, if you're a B2B company, that is almost always the case. It's almost always repeat customers, current customers that do repeat business, or referrals from people you've done business with in the past. And so the simple message that I always try to teach people is you want to stay top of mind with those guys, and the way you do that is through marketing. And marketing includes the coffees, lunches, and chamber events that you're going to. So I hope that got you thinking this week. Are people talking about the stuff that you're involved in and the stories that you're putting out there? Or are you not even putting stories out there, because that's a huge opportunity for you guys to ramp things up? Let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas about how you know your marketing's working. Anything, any feedback on this video, I would love to hear from you guys. I hope you're having a great week. I'll see you soon. Next week I think is a tech tip, but I'll get it out there and I'll see you next week online.